If you love D&D and Critical Role, you're going to love this podcast as I dive into their animated series, The Mighty Nein, the new Campaign 4 gameplay, and much, much more. I'm Yasmin, and you're listening to the Mostly Ridiculous D&D podcast. Welcome to episode 3. We did it. Yeah. So, yeah, we did the last 2 episodes. They were pretty cool. There was a lot of odds, a lot of foreshadowing, a lot of awesome details. But this is where it gets crazy in this episode. Okay. All right, let's get right into it. Synopsis. A carnival is in town, and everyone ends up making their way there. Making their way. As everyone has their own reasons for being there, they find themselves at the main attraction, where all hell breaks loose as a demon frog breaks free of its controller, going on a killing spree while turning everyone around it into thralls. The frog manages to escape, and our heroes find themselves falsely arrested by the local authorities. That's pretty much the summary. It gets real crazy. Some of the craziest gore, I think. Well, no, I think it's about the same as like the Vox Machina type of gore or murder that goes on in the series, which is nuts. But yeah, the scene opens up in the middle of the crazy battle against the frog demon, which is done very quickly. And all hell breaks loose, and then it just cuts to the previous morning, where we are treated to some nudity. I think there's some tiefling nudity there. Then we are introduced to Gustav, who is walking Molly out through different parts of the tents and setup going on with the carnival. Like things already started, and everything's kind of lively and still not in full production, it seems like, but people are still there gathering and doing stuff. And then there's a funny note here. Somebody mentions that one of the characters says one of the illusionists disappeared. And Molly says, fuck, he's good. And I thought that was just funny as hell, that dialogue right there. I don't know why. I just laughed out loud. I just laughed out loud at that. And then we cut to Nott and Caleb trying to get in there with trying to find that scarabs, those glowing scarabs that he needs for his spell to work. I'm not sure is the spell supposed to be the summoning of his familiar to get his cat, or is that something else? I'm not sure if I missed that or not. But nonetheless, they know that those glowing beetles are going to be there. So that's why they're there. Unfortunately, it has a little, well, not very alcohol addicted. She has a huge addiction, and they showcase that in this episode very clearly. Very, very well done. And honestly, it was a little depressing to watch her with her withdrawal and like just kind of lose it a little bit. It really brought out what addiction does to you when you're addicted to something that you just can't control, and that I felt really depressed for a quick second there. That was some intense stuff, and I'm kind of glad they did that because it just highlights how addiction, like it showed how addiction can really grasp you, how it can just have a real hold on you. And I think they did it well in the animation, the dialogue, the tone of the voice acting and everything. It was well done. And then we're going to pan out to Ford and Jester, who make their way there. And she's trying to have fun. They have a couple hours before their caravan shows up, and they I think they're going to Nicodranas. I think that's where they're going. But either way, they're here at the carnival. They have a couple hours, and Jester wants to have some fun. Ford's being a little bit, not a wet blanket, but he's being a little bit like, we shouldn't do that. We need to focus kind of stuff. But, she gets him to come around. So he reluctantly agrees to doing whatever she wants. And they go through these fun mirrors, which I'm bringing up for a reason because there was a couple things about the fun mirrors that they pass through. There's all different versions of them as they're walking by, which is hilarious. They make their way through these mirror section where it shows them different versions of themselves. And if you've seen, I'm assuming you've watched it, but yeah, there's a bunch of different things that just showed different variants of them, which I thought was very interesting that it did for this series. It was a little fun. There might have been some other Easter eggs there that I didn't see, but one I did catch was when they both walked in front of this one mirror, and as Ford walks by it, he doesn't pay any. I don't think he pays any attention to the mirror, but the mirror reflection is an animated version of Travis Willingham, which is fantastic. I love that they did that. And then when Jester walked by, it was the same thing with Laura Bailey's reflection. I thought that was great. And that's why I wanted to bring it up. I thought that was very well done. I don't know if they're going to do animated versions of the players themselves throughout the series or not, but they've at least done it for these two characters that I remember right now. But I thought that was funny. I loved that moment. That was great, and it was just fantastic. And then they did a bunch of other things like do some games. They brought the lollipop hammer for the hammer drop, which I thought was funny. But I'm not sure why they added that to that moment because just like a few minutes later when they were fighting the frog, Jester used her spiritual weapon to produce the lollipop weapon. So I'm not sure why they did it two times there. Essentially, like I'm not sure what that was about, but it's fine. Like that's not really. I was just curious. I was like, why did they did that when they did it for Jester's ability in fight later? Another thing is, who's Bo looking for? She shows up there looking for someone, and then meets the mysterious guy. Gets a, I'm assuming it's a recording. It's like an audio recording of someone name. I'm not entirely sure what it was now, but she comes to pick that up. I'm not. This is what is different than the campaign compared to the animated series. I don't remember that Bo. I don't think Bo was there to meet anyone because she at this point in the campaign she had already been traveling with Ford and Jester for a little while and happened to be there. I don't think she was there for another reason. And then in the animated series, she came there specifically to find someone to pick up something, I guess, deliver it to her mentor. And I don't know who this guy is. Another funny thing that happened in the series was Bo interaction with Bo and Caleb, and was one of the funniest moments of that episode because she starts attacking Nott, holds her up, and then Nott and Caleb pretend to be father and daughter, and then it just draws a crowd, and he's like, "Don't attack my daughter," and that kind of stuff, which was really funny and very smart of thinking up on the spot of how to handle the situation. And it was just funny. And then she breaks the one guy's wrist to put his hand on her, and so Molly comes up and says, "Oh, you're causing trouble, even though you said you weren't here to cause trouble." And then he says they're gonna have to kick her out, and then she says, "I'd like to see her try," and just cuts to her being disheveled and kind of beaten up looking, and out of the at the edge of the grounds, like the fairgrounds of the carnival. And it was just a funny transition from that to the outcome. And I thought that was funny too. Yeah, I just thought the whole Bo getting kicked out of the circus was funny because that wasn't in the campaign, but they added that. That was funny here. And then she ends up having to sneak back in because Nott, throughout the scuffle with her, stole the little orb thing that she was supposed to take back to her mentor. So she has to sneak back in now, even though she was kicked out and, banned from coming back into the carnival. Yeah. And there was a bunch of different moments here and there that was just really fun to watch overall. Just Lucian, or I keep saying Lucian, but Molly at this moment. Molly just going around and handling the whole situation. And then just the overall violence that we're going to get into later is just crazy because, oh my God, that frog goes nuts. One of the things I think that surprised me the most out of that is there was a guy who I think is a random NPC, technically, or this character in the a random character that we don't think meet in the campaign, but he's one of the what is it called? The ones that swing on the rope on the like very high above the crowd that do those like acrobatic swings and jumps. I forget what they're called now. That guy who was introduced crying in the bar because I think he got dumped, and then Molly tells him to express himself to the girl that dumped him, and they seem to have worked things out for themselves until the frog attacked, which was like, okay, um, it kind of surprised me because the frog shot all the frog was shooting spikes at people, and if you get hit by it, you get turned into a thrall. And he got hit by it and turned into a thrall, which means he unfortunately died. I was a little depressed by that. I was a little upset. Yeah, I was upset. I was really like sad about that happening for some reason for a character I wasn't even really invested in that much. Like the overall violence and death in general in this fight was really like sad to see. That's how well the animation was done. The attacks, the people dying, like getting squished by the frog, jumping on them and everything. It really surprised me how much I personally felt for random characters I didn't really like knew nothing. It's just random characters running around dying. I was like, oh God, just did not was like just thrown back by it. And I'm not sure if that's like I don't know if I'm the only one who felt like that, but let me know if that's how you felt when watching it, or if you're someone who's like more, oh, that was awesome, those were cool parts. Like, it's all fine either way. I was just thrown aback by that. I actually cared about random people dying that I didn't meet or see before. One of the coolest aspects about the whole frog fight was just the overall battle between all the characters that were trying to deal with it. And everyone had their own battles with with the thralls to deal with before attacking with the frog. But one of the things that surprised me the most, Gustav was, as far as I remember from campaign 2, he didn't die, right? He was still alive. I think he was still alive, was he not? Like, if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a while since I watched campaign 2, and as far as I remember, Gustav never died. But here he got turned into a thrall. Lucian unfortunately had to deal with it, which I'm not sure. Which I'll get into in a second with what happened there. I say Lucian with Molly. Molly had to deal with it, but I don't remember Gustav dying at all or transforming. Am I the only one who's misremembering that? Let me know if I'm correct here. If he's still alive in campaign 2, or if he did die and I'm just misremembering everything. But the whole Molly losing control. Oh my God, Molly lost control when he saw Gustav transformed and went all berserk. Like it was cool. The whole all the eyes lighting up on his arms and body, and then he just goes on like crazy mode and just kills Gustav Thrall in like 2 seconds. Just is nuts. That was great animation, just a great battle sequence. It was just awesome, but it was also very sad to see him kill his own boss or friend. And then has the realization that because I once he kills him, he transforms back, and it's just yeah. There's a lot of strings, like emotional strings, being pulled from this episode, and I was not really personally prepared or ready for that. Yeah, that was what surprised me because I swear I thought Gustav survived, and I think if he did survive in campaign 2, this is one of those changes they did for the animated series. And yeah, but I thought it was a cool sequence. I thought it was a cool overall thing that happened because it surprised me. As someone who's watched it before, it did still surprise me. Even if it happened in the campaign, I forgot. And it's being seen on screen now. So it was very surprising, great to see. Honestly, very sad as well. And it was just so many emotional strings pulled. Another cool thing I liked about was the whole fight sequence was Caleb's casting of the fireball looked amazing. Oh my god, I cannot believe how the animators just went pretty much all out on this. The drawing in the air, the sequence, the whole air writing in fire just looked fantastic. And he's about to shoot it, and all of a sudden Ford just ends up bumping into him or getting knocked into him and shoots that fireball off course. But I thought it looked cool. I was expecting for a big explosion with the fireball on the frog, but it did not happen. It exploded behind him. But it was a cool lead up to it, and I thought that was really cool. I was like, oh, here comes a moment, and then it doesn't. But it's still it was really like I'm just rambling on now because I'm just so mesmerized by how well the animators did their job with the spell casting in overall in this all 3 episodes so far. Like it's been great. One of the things that I think I like the most about it is Ford. At the beginning of the fight, Ford just goes ham. He just goes into like full like crazy. I gotta fight like crazy fight mode. He goes the animation for his blink, was it blink or what's Misty Step? I think it was Misty Step. I'm not sure which spell he cast. I think he did that on purpose this time because he did it a couple times before and it was an accident. But I like the way that spell works because he blinks or Misty Steps forward into battle, full head on, like trying to just attack the frog. And when he reappears, splatter of water just go everywhere. So it's like that effect of like from Ukatoa's own, like as if he went through water, like as if he went through water to get to where he appeared, and the water that was on him just appeared with him and like sprayed out. That's kind of what it was. It looked sick, and then the Eldritch Blast, and then the sword. It is just really good. It was just a really good offensive attack by Ford that I really surprised me by that. And then Jester's lollipop again. Yeah, she manifesting the lollipop and killing a throw like that. That was pretty cool. And yeah, and then all of a sudden, the frog kidnaps its old master and then just disappears, just runs away. I'm not sure how it got away, and that nobody noticed the giant frog just hopping away. I'm not sure what happened there or how anybody missed that because the guards were right there right after the frog disappeared. Our group of heroes were right there, and then all of a sudden, the guards were right on them and placed them under arrest. So I'm wondering how the frog escaped the guards, or how none of the guards or anyone seemed to notice a giant creature just getting by them. I'm so confused with that. Like, how did he escape? That's one thing I'm not sure about. Like, I think that's my only critique about the episode is how did a frog get away? Because I'm just not sure how nobody was able to notice that. But they did notice that 6 people standing there in the middle of the tent. Like that, okay, sure. Like they had to have gone by the frog in order to get to the tent, right? Am I going crazy for thinking this? Like, how does somebody miss a giant frog and not think, wait, hold on, maybe we should stop this thing, I'm just not sure. But that's just my opinion. I'm not sure what anyone else thinks. Let me know what you think about that. Maybe you agree, disagree, just let me know. But yeah, I think that's my only complaint about the entire episode because everything else was honestly fantastic. This episode was really good. Yeah, I think some of my favorite moments from this were definitely Bo getting kicked out, the frog fight overall. Molly's loss of control for the moment, that was a sick moment too. Overall, the episode was good. I think I liked it overall as in general. Yeah. I don't think I have much more to say on the series on this episode, but yeah, it was really fun watch. I liked it a lot. I'm gonna like that. I'm gonna go over some of the differences between or changes between the animated series from the campaign. The first one, just I was waiting for it to happen, but it never happened, and I'm okay with it. So In campaign 2, they met at the tavern. That's where they all met. Yes, I know. Typical D&D meeting spot. That's fine. But in the animated series, they never met in a tavern. They just had their own thing at the carnival itself and ended up meeting there and being put in this situation where they had to kind of help save people around that were being attacked by the frog, which did happen in campaign 2, but the lead up to that, it was not the same. Yeah, so that's the main difference. The gameplay was they met at a tavern and they got invited to go to the carnival, and then that's when the another thing that's different from the series uh is the fact uh Beauregard never traveled with Ford and Jester in the show. She came there for a specific reason, and it had nothing to do. I'm not sure. They never. I don't think they ever explained in the game how the three of them met and why they were at that tavern that they were. I think they were just there. But in the series, she has a reason to go there, never met Ford and Jester, and met them there at the fight for the first time. She had more of a beef with Nott and with Caleb, which is also another thing. She ran into Caleb and Nott before Ford and Jester. That's another difference from the campaign. Molly and Yasha didn't travel together in this one, because in the campaign they traveled together. They were in the circus together, because they were both like two people who have no memory of their quote unquote past life, kind of, or previous set of time. They both had missing time that they had missing, that they just didn't know anything about. So that's why they were traveling together. That was like they ran into each other and decided to travel with the circus like that. And also, no Yasha at all this episode. She wasn't even in the carnival fight, not even in this thing. She just wasn't around at all. So I'm wondering how they're going to introduce her. So that's another key difference, because like everyone was introduced at that tavern and invited to the carnival, and it was just pretty straightforward. But here they're making it a little more complicated here. Yeah. So yeah, not complicated, but I mean like different for sure. But they're making a different angle for it. Like I'm wondering how they're going to introduce Yasha to this. So I'm just gonna look forward to that and see, because her quick introduction was very interesting, because that one was in her backstory, part of her backstory. I think what happened. Yeah. So it's interesting to see how they run into her. And another uh, key difference from the campaign and the game or on the show is that Gustav dies. Because I swear, is this a Mandela effect? I'm not sure, because I swear Gustav didn't die. So am I the only one who's not thinking that Gustav should, like I'm confused. Gustav, it's not like it's a problem. It's just it's just something that I've noticed that's different. Like, so Gustav's death is also what surprised me. What is different from from the show, well, from the campaign. Unless this is a Mandela effect where I'm thinking it's different, like where he did die, but I'm thinking of a different, like it. Also, yeah. So those are my key points for the difference between the game and the show. Yeah. So, and that's pretty much the episode 3 for Mighty Nine. I thought it was overall pretty. It was a really fun episode to watch. I had a lot of fun watching it, and a lot of surprise moments that I'm glad happened. And I hope they continue to do this for which I'm sure they will. So, all right, yeah. This has been episode 3 of the Mighty Nine. So join me next week when we watch episode 4. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be exciting to watch. At current time of recording, episode 4 is not out yet. So hopefully by the time this episode airs, that it is out. And if it is, you should have episode 4 coming out soon. All right. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next episode.